2022 NFL mock drafts post-Senior Bowl after Jeremy gathered all of the goodness that he could from Senior Bowl week down in Mobile, Alabama. Did the live YouTube stream with David Smith of Armchair Commentary this past weekend. Had a lot of fun with that. And we thought it'd just be a good idea. Let you all in on the Carolina Panthers 7-round mock draft.
Well, no matter who you're a fan of, obviously we're right in the heart of Carolina Panther country. They don't have a ton of selections, so it is one that we can show you exactly how these sound. And if Carolina's your team, you get the content. If it's not, you see how it goes. You can go to the YouTube page at The Sportsocracy and see the one for your team.
Exactly.
After this here program today, finally, all of the ones from the NFC East. And no, these are not muted. Before anybody asks, I got enough questions of why can't I hear it?
Yeah.
Well, because sometimes you hit a wrong button.
Sometimes that happens. Well, the Carolina Panthers 2022 mock draft post-Senior Bowl starts off with the number 6 overall pick in the draft. And, they need to beef up the offensive line. There's going to be one at 6.
If they don't take Charles Cross, they did it wrong. Unless it's Trevor Penning or someone else on the offensive line.
Right.
The offensive tackle from Mississippi State. The problem that Carolina's going to have, and this is one of those things that you have to know when you make a move like they made for Sam Darnold. When you're this bereft of draft capital, and they have less than any team in the NFL. It was the Rams and then them. You have to know that you're going to have a need, and you may have to overdraft it. Mm-hmm. Charles Cross probably will reach at 6, especially after how good Trevor Penning was. One of the reasons that I've been so dogmatic on this, not a lot of tackles. Not a lot of guys that can come in and start on the left side right away, which is what Carolina needs.
Right.
This kid can. Now, when you don't pick for 3 more rounds, it gets kind of difficult to go, we'll just bypass that. We'll find one in the 4th round. No, you won't. No, you won't. I've been through this backwards and forwards trying to find any way that you could do anything but what I'm saying here, and no, it's not going to be a quarterback. Let me say that one more time because I get asked this a lot. It's not going to be a quarterback. No.
They're going to see exactly what they'll have with a full year of Sam Darnold. See what Ben McAdoo can do with him. But they have to have a tackle.
I have very little.
Now, after what you saw at the Senior Bowl, sorry to interrupt, but after what you saw at the Senior Bowl, do you still think that Charles Cross should be the call here, or has Trevor Penning surpassed him?
I would take Trevor Penning.
Okay.
I think if you do that, you're going to get crushed. And that's one of those decisions that if you do it and it backfires, it could get you fired.
Yeah. Oh, remember they took that guy from Northern Iowa with the number 6 pick.
Yeah, and that's where you'll see a lot of these guys. Yeah, they rise up the process, but unless you're like Khalil Mack, who famously had an unreal game at Buffalo against Ohio State,
right?
That's the reason he got drafted that high. If it hadn't been for that, you would never know what they look like against competition to that level, and it's hard to draft guys that high. Most people I have talked to said there was so much of a disparity between Trevor Penning and Charles Cross that he's not going to bridge that gap unless Cross goes to the combine and runs a 7, which is not going to happen.
Right.
Then that's most likely where Carolina will go.
All right. The Carolina Panthers do not have a 2nd-round pick. They sent that to the Jets.
Yay! Look at that. Thank you. I'm really glad that my team gets to take that because we need it badly.
They don't have a 3rd-round pick in this draft either.
We didn't get that one.
The next one comes up at the 4th round, 106 overall, and you got them taking a quarterback.
I do.
Kellen Glass out of Alabama A&M.
I am so much higher on this kid than everybody else is. And am I going to sit here and tell you that this wasn't a little disingenuous? Maybe. Because his best pro comp is Cam Newton.
Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of. 6'5". He's not as thick as Cam Newton, but he's a very good runner. Not as fast. I mean, he's probably more in the 4.9. Has a really good arm. He's not somebody that's going to start immediately. Carolina has very limited options to add quarterbacks. If Sam Darnold's not the solution, you know who I know definitively is not? Cam Newton or P.J. Walker.
Right.
So you're going to have to add somebody that could play the position one way or the other. Well, you're not doing it at 6. Because if you do not add a lineman to this team, I don't care if you get Joe Montana in his prime back there, he might get cut in half.
Right.
Kellen Glass is the backside of the high-end quarterback prospects. If you told me a guy that didn't go in the first round wound up being a franchise quarterback, I'd bet my house it was him.
Really?
There's a lot of intangibles about him that I really like. He's big. He's got a very nice deep ball arm. He's got a bigger arm than Darnold does.
Okay.
He's just not as mobile. And I know that sounds weird to compare him to Cam Newton. He's mobile enough. He's not straight line fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, he's mobile enough. He can do all of the things that you really want him to. That could bring in some RPO, having, DJ Moore and Christian McCaffery. He just fits in this offense.
Right.
Now, do I love you taking a quarterback? No. But you're going to have to add one somewhere.
Yeah, you're kind of in a position where you need to because the backups are not the best of options.
I'll say it, bad.
Okay.
They're bad.
All right.
P.J. Walker is bad. And I like the kid, but he is not an NFL starting quarterback.
In the 5th round, 2 picks in the 5th round for the Carolina Panthers. At 143 overall, get Caden Mays, guard out of Tennessee. Started out at Georgia and then transferred to Tennessee.
Hey, another offensive lineman. Who's shocked? Him and Trey Smith are two guys that, and I was right about Trey Smith last year. He was one of the 5 best offensive linemen that came out of the class last year.
Yes.
I feel the same way about Caden Mays.
Really?
And he's going to fall, and I cannot for the life of me tell you why. I watch the tape and go, okay, he's the 4th best guard in this class. And there are just a slew of people that don't agree with me, and I don't know why. It's the same way I felt about Trey Smith last year.
Yeah.
What are you seeing that I'm not seeing? Kid's, 6'6", 320. Got a very decent mean streak. Okay, so he's a little heavy-footed. He's 320 pounds.
Right.
He's a guard. It's not like this is a zone scheme. I'm not overly worried about that. I like this kid a lot.
And this is a guy that can be useful to open up holes for Christian McCaffery to run through.
If I was a Carolina Panther fan, you told me that was my first 3 picks, I would be ecstatic. I can do something with Brady Christensen, who you took last year. Mm-hmm. Then you would have the 2 rookies, and you've still got Taylor Moton. And Matt Paredes if you decide to bring him back.
Right.
Yep, that sounds like an offensive line to me. It's markedly better than what you had last year.
Yeah. You think they will bring Paredes back?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've gotten conflicting reports on that, so I don't even want to speculate on it.
Right.
I think he would be more expensive than you think, just because there's not a ton of centers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they want to pay that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's worth what you would have to pay him.
They got $17 million to spend in free agency, according to Over the Cap. And I don't know. I mean, he would be a good chunk of that, let's just say, to bring back Matt Paredes. At 149 overall, this is the 2nd 5th round pick for the Carolina Panthers. You got him taking, staying in state, Demarco Jackson, linebacker out of App State.
I'm a big fan of this kid. Didn't have the biggest week at the Senior Bowl, and it was actually really quiet, which is why he goes here. But to me, Carolina's biggest problems are on offense. But I could easily see Demarco Jackson being that steadying force that they haven't had since Luke Kuechly. And I know that sounds weird to say at a 5th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is really smart. I don't remember where I saw this, but he did it was one of those behind closed doors, however you want to phrase that, where he was just talking about football. He's not as athletically gifted as you would like him to be, but I'll be real honest with you, Luke Kuechly wasn't either.
Right.
And I absolutely fell in love with how he sees this game.
So he's got it all there between the ears. May not have it all there completely physically.
Oh, he certainly doesn't.
I mean, 6'1", 235 pounds. Doesn't really run all that fast.
Nope. The measurables are not going to shock you.
Right.
And I think he could end up slipping through the cracks. It's a guy I just really like.
Yep.
And I think you need that stabilizing force. You know, Shaq Thompson is the unbelievably athletic linebacker.
Right.
Jeremy Chin flies all over the field. DeMarco Murray is the guy that I think could be in the middle of, or DeMarco Jackson's the guy that could be in the middle of that defense that just calls the plays.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything runs through him. He has a really impressive acumen for this game.
Okay. In the 6th round, 197 overall, Jeremy, you got them taking Isaiah Thomas, edge rusher out of Oklahoma.
He's a bit of a project. But in time, I think he could develop into – I don't think he'll ever be a great pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good pass rusher now. The problem is that you have to be really careful when you start grading, especially pass rushers. Linebackers, it gets tough. Corners, it gets tough. When you start judging edge guys in the Big 12, you have to be really careful because there are tackles in that conference that are 260 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Conversely, I am 260 pounds. Don't think I'm going to be that much of an impediment, and many of the tackles in that conference aren't either.
Right.
That's why he fell to me. Some people see him much higher than I do.
How high have you seen him?
3rd round.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's quite the discrepancy from 3rd to 6th.
Well, and in this draft, you'll see that. You'll see that more this year than you've ever seen it before. There will be more guys that you do that with this year than you've ever done before.
Yeah.
Because the grades are so close.
In the 7th round, 244 overall, is this a homer pick? Jashawn Corbin, running back out of Florida State.
No, it's not. It's fixing a mistake that Matt Rule's wife made last year.
With Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard is not a second running back in this league. I have said it. I will keep saying it. I don't care if he was good for your fantasy team. I don't care if you knew his name. I don't care if you watched him in college. What did Carolina miss last year? There was a player that used to play for the Carolina Panthers that I think it was pretty obvious they missed him last year.
Yeah. Was it Samuel?
No. Former backup running back to Christian McCaffery.
Oh, Davis. Mike Davis.
Yeah, you know who Jashawn Corbin's closest comparison is?
Let me guess. Mike Davis.
Mike Davis. Same guy. I watched him a lot at Florida State. Some people don't have a draftable grade on him, and I think those people are stupid. But in that Carolina offense, he would fit in seamlessly. Really good in pass pro, really good receiver. Not a guy that's going to hurt you that much running between the tackles, even though he's built like a bowling ball.
Right.
And he could in time. It's just not what he does particularly well right now. But Mike Davis didn't do that particularly well. And he was the starting running back for the Atlanta Falcons this year. That's one of those that I just look at and go, that's a help Sam Darnold pick. And you have to be really careful when you have this few picks. You got to kind of take players that can come in and fill a role right now.
Right.
And that's what he can do.
Only 6 picks in this 2022 NFL draft right now for the Carolina Panthers. And all starts with shoring up that offensive line. That's where you have to start with this team. If you're going to get anything out of this quarterback in this $18 million bonus year.
As an affiliate for the Panthers and as somebody that really wants this team to be good, I'm going to take a saying that I say a lot, and I'm going to modify it just a little bit. Build the damn line!
All right, Jeremy, you got some picks that is actually going to make some money tonight?